You done hit me.
Haha, in your face.
What the fuck?
Just spit on me again!
You hit me in the face with the damn bell.
Shut it. Ring, 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 herald simps and virgins.
You have no respect and no authority to call anyone a vegan.
And welcome back to Krown's magical weekend cave.
The weekend cave? What the fuck? Anyways, welcome back to the Eric Krown Crypto channel. It is a lovely Wednesday morning over here from a very dark Helsinki, Finland. Still, the weather, or it's not even the weather, the fucking sun doesn't show its face until like 10 a.m., but that's okay. We don't need no sun right now, as it's a crypto winter, as it's crypto boring times right now, and the only people tuning into information like this are the most ardent of all crypto people around the web. So with that in mind, I do want to welcome you back, of course, and I do want to wish you the best as always. And with that in mind, I actually just want to post a general question here for kind of the participants in the chat right now. If you have been around for the past I guess 3 or 4 years now, basically back to 2018, are you getting similar vibes? Are you getting that sort of feeling that, you know, there's very few people, very few retail, especially within this market right now? It seems to me like it's really the most, the truest of the hardcore believers, and it doesn't really feel like there is all of that excitement, all of that sort of, coverage in the media and whatnot going on, especially in the last couple months. Even when Bitcoin hit about $69,000, it really didn't feel all that explosive. Just like when Bitcoin came down to about $39,000, well, the same sort of thing. Both very uneventful in terms of emotional response to these. So I sip of this coffee. I've tried a new one today actually, and it's pretty damn good. It's like full on Finnish Yolha Mocha. Yolha Mocha. It's really, really good, actually. Those Finns, they know two things well. They're the highest per capita consumers of coffee and also vodka, which is quite the combination, usually consumed with each other. Would not suggest that. Of course, I don't even drink myself, but I would like to just sippy sip on another one of these right here out of my nice little Krown cup. And beautiful, here we go. Economy is drying up in the USA, says Venom Incorporated. I mean, I think a lot of things are kind of drying up right now. Just feels like kind of a boringish time as the whole media narrative all starts to fall off the face of the earth as well. I mean, what's going to be the new thing? The new thing is going to be Ukraine and Russia going at it with each other. And then what? The Russians going to come back on over here and take over Finland, take it back for what was theirs? Well, Elsa says no. I don't know, man. I don't know. That does seem a little bit of a worry right now. And I see some Hex chilling as well. Beautiful, man. Hex to 100x in 2022. That's exactly right, my friend. Your dreams of riches will be granted to you just by believing in the good old RH coin, my friend. Just like everyone who believes in whatever your favorite coin is. Hey, some of them will make you rich, obviously, but I suspect that it's gonna be a difficult another month or so. Putin is hungry. Putin is a little bit hungry, man, but when is he not? All the COVID money pump in the markets is gone. Yeah, there's a little bit of that going on right now. I feel like we're kind of pricing in this whole new regime as the whole talks of interest rates going up, which seems to be about 100%. Sorry, I wouldn't say priced in just yet, although it is being priced in. But there does seem to be about 100% conformity that there is going to be at least 3, maybe even 4 this year, once every quarter, which kind of makes sense. But once you start to get that sort of talk coming out, which is exactly what we're getting right now, you are going to see that price in the market, and I do think that we're going to see, we're obviously going to see the bottom of the market well before that actually does happen. Yes, I need to pin a message right here. I apologize for just talking right now. I'm just trying to waste some time while I sip the rest of this coffee. It's damn good, man, but I severely need it this morning as I didn't get the best sleep last night. Something weird going on in the air right now. I think it's actually a full moon. Is it a full moon? I think it actually is a full moon. Anyways, let me just polish this one off, and then we'll get right into it as Bitcoin back above 41,800 or so. Not really giving us too much to speak about, to be quite honest with you. There will be interest pumps. They'll be insignificant. Yeah, I mean, or if you're talking about the open interest, yeah, I do think that has been kind of one of the main drivers of this market. I mean, honestly, just blindly paying attention to open interest has been quite profitable for the past year and a half now, which is becoming more and more of a bigger part of my own game, actually. So I think I just got a couple more sippy sips here, and then we'll get right into it, my friends. Hey, what's up, Nikki Page? Blame it on the moons. The moons, indeed. There is like a weird thing. Elsa was telling me that she has a very difficult time sleeping when it's a full moon. I don't know if anyone else is like that. I don't necessarily know if I'm like that. I think I just generally have a difficult time sleeping anyways. There's too many things to keep in mind, right? Hey, what's up, Ray? Good morning to you, man. Jacob B, Gemini Athlete. What's up, brother? Suede. Nice name, sir. Suede in the morning. I remember that radio show from way back when. Libar. Am I saying that properly? Kesur. I don't know what the fuck that means, man, but you know what? I salute you, sir. Sean Waller. Good morning to you as well, my friend. Hey, all good, man. All good. Yeah, I'm just I'm in it to win it this morning. Lillian H. Good morning to you as well. Will Charles. Wolfman, indeed. Yeah, man. My bodily hair is going absolutely insane right now, actually. Megan Gomes, good morning to you as well. Are we in a bear market? Nah, I wouldn't say that this is a bear market. Now, it depends how you define it, right? So here's the thing. I can tell you that this is not a bear market and why, but it doesn't really matter because Bitcoin went down, 40, 50%, right? I mean, even over the summer, off of that $60,000 to $30,000 move, that was a 50% retracement. Technically not a bear market, at least in the way that I define things, which is, of course, a weekly downtrend at minimum, which we did not initiate around that time. We actually still don't have it as well here, but it doesn't really matter if you call it a bear market or not. A 40 or 50% move to the downside is always going to be that. So that's the way that I like to kind of think of things. And then if you're on the macro scale, just kind of gives you a bias as to whether you think that you should be maybe accumulating these sort of regions or if they should be used as a time to distribute your own little coinies as well. Good morning to you as well, Mr. Will Corden. And Cobus Pinar, what's up, brother? And Dread Mining, good morning to you as well. the Bula souls. I don't know, man. Have you been sending your prayers to Bula Jesus recently? All right, I just got one more sippy sip here. Wait. Man, that coffee it tastes like, I swear, it tastes like chocolate. It's amazing. It's insane. It's incredible. Anyways, I'm actually on a little bit of a coffee reduction spree recently, trying to get my own gastric issues in order. All right, sweet. So let's see. Where do we want to start this one off today? I do want to say welcome to all 1,100 people watching right now. That is insane, man. 366 likes and this video is just beginning. I think that we saw a bit of an uptick from yesterday to today. Amazing. And look at the title of today, Bitcoin. All titles on YouTube are the same for price. That's exactly fucking right, man. That's what I was thinking this morning looking across the YouTube web. If you're ever wondering how I come up with my titles, I literally just go on to YouTube, I type in Bitcoin, and then I run through like the first 20 showings of that, and then I just look at what's hitting right now. What are people talking about? And today it was all the fucking same. Everyone's talking about capitulation, down. I saw one bullish title from Mr. Moon himself, and well, I don't know if that one necessarily counts just because I think that one's usually baked in, but fair enough, man, fair enough. Anyways, it's enough talking about that. Let's get into the actual charts right now. What I want to be talking about and what I actually want to record, and here we have Bitcoin. As we get into this one, I want to once again send out a quick notice that on Instagram, there's been a bunch of scammers there. I only have one account, the link's in the description below, as is several other links, in fact, as well, to the Krown Chain application, which you see right in front of your very face. It is also free, as is the Jewel Light, which you can grab in the link in the description below as well. Also free for the next few weeks here, and then it's going to vanish and never be seen ever again. Anyways, with that in mind, we do have a lot of very pertinent things to be following up on, although it's been rather boring for the past month here, realistically. I do want to once again put the highlight on the global open interest. Remember, as long as it is above that 11 billion marker, I do still think that there is a threat of another washout with open interest. Now, of course, we've seen all these washouts come with downside price action for the past year and a half, but that is to be expected in a generally long only, up only market as well. Now, we will be seeing at some point, if and when Bitcoin does initiate some more long-term weekly downtrends, which we are almost on the precipice of doing right now. We don't necessarily have that lower high just yet, but that could come with, of course, shorts closing or with shorts getting squeezed in this case, or not necessarily squeezed, but shorts getting, their little bungholes wrung out as well. But in this case right here, I wouldn't necessarily go with the other interpretation on that, at least as hopium, until that actually does happen. And for right now, the data is quite clear. So I do still think that this is still a threatening move right here. This still obviously is always going to open up the possibilities and even probabilities in this case that we do see a downside move. But at the end of the day, we do need to combine with this price action, and there are a few new things to be speaking about on price action on the very short-term timeframes for today. Obviously, the higher-term timeframes is very much unchanged, but I do want to highlight that right there. And of course, we do see a few other interesting things here as well. One of them being the funny rates, of course. We do see it ever so slightly positive. Understand that the default for these is about 0.01%, so anything below that is suggestive that shorts are being a little bit more aggressive on the trigger finger right there. However, we did see it significantly more negative realistically, not realistically, but mostly for the past week actually, and it's only as of the last 48 hours where we've seen consistently positive rates, very small, might I add, very small, and still below that threshold, but ultimately that is suggesting that the market's kind of balancing out with a more neutral position here. So I really would like to push back on the people who are very gung-ho and ardent about this idea of a short squeeze or a long squeeze in this case. At the end of the day, the market's actually suggesting something a little bit more neutral with slightly a little bit more against the shorts. But here's the thing, you can't really squeeze a short in a fucking downtrend. So, it'd really only be relevant for the very over leveraged participants in this market, and the over leveraged participants in this market, the people who are 10x and above, they usually don't have the equity, especially combined as well, in order to actually move the market. So I do think that that's a little bit more of something to be aware of, simply because, you do see that going around the old market sphere right now, and realistically it's just that hasn't really been the case for what it's worth. Anyways, what else do I want to be speaking about? The leverage ratio, obviously new all-time highs, and that is the one chart that I wish I could long, but you can't fucking long apparently. Anyways, into the market data tab we go. I want to call out, or did I want to call out something else? Let's see, what did I want to call out? Fear and greed index, of course, again, it is suggestive that we're closer to a major low than not, but again, closer to a major low than not does not mean that Bitcoin can't come back down and wash out somewhere around $40,000 low or so. So I want to be very deliberately clear about this. I actually do think that Bitcoin's very close to putting in a low right here. However, that again does not mean that Bitcoin can't come back down even just slightly below $40,000. We just don't want to see any daily closures below about 41, I believe it was, whatever that wick low was for not CME, but on the 4th of December dump, which was about 41 and some odd change right there, which Bitcoin has actually consistently been closing above ever since, and that still does offer, a bit of a liquidity trap in that region. Anyways, going to the price action charts right now, I want to follow up on the most important things to be aware of. Oh, actually, I did forget one thing right here. That's going to be the NUPL. And what can I explain about this? Well, you can obviously you can obviously read the dictionary definition, which is just the difference between market cap and realized cap divided by market cap, which is the net unrealized profit and loss, is what it actually stands for. And as far as the charts go, we're more close again to a bottoming area right here, seeing that it is kind of in line with what we saw over the summer. But here's the thing, again, you can see it stay within that context for a while. Just like over here on the fear and greed index, we did see the summer lows put in, extremely fearful reads for about 2.5 months consistently, of which right now we're working on about month number 2 coming up here. So this can take a lot more time, even if you are the biggest of bullahs. A bit more sideways here is going to obviously look better on the bigger picture, but that is going to imply, more boringness as well. So let's go into the actual boring charts right here, and let's follow up on yesterday's analysis, of which we are still looking at the same blue box territory that we had from yesterday. Now, we did get a move down below it. We did get a few wicks down below it. That is fine. No closures below it, which is what matters most. And I'm still basically have the same analysis on it today as I did yesterday. Look, if you do start to get closures below it, I am looking for this move to happen with another retest of your wick lows from earlier in January, actually, somewhere around $40,000, maybe even a little bit lower than that. And then I'd want to play the game of where does the daily land. If the daily lands below that 4th of December wick low, then I will be looking probably much lower, probably somewhere around about $38,000 over time. But for right now, still holding within this region. And this actually does offer up a nice and obvious trade right here. As we kind of, or not, we don't kind of, sort of, we do move this down. We've been marching this down now for the past couple days actually. And now I would not necessarily need to wait for an actual closure above about 43,200, I believe it was. Now we could actually move this down for both, relevant for both a full hour, maybe even hourly right here as well, on that last little rejective high that you do see at about just under 40, basically $42,000 in this case. If you're on an hourly, I would actually have that a little bit higher. I'd actually have it right here on the rejection, also in line with the 200 simple right here as well, which is going to be about 42,700. Actually, there is quite a big difference between those two spreads right there. So basically 4 hour above about 42, I think it was 42.4 or so. Let me just double check on this one. To make a little bit more sure. Yeah, about 42.4. Hourly above about 42.7 would do it for me. Until then, this is more bearish setup. No doubt about that. And if we go over here to CME, it should be known that CME daily, I believe, confirmed, or let me just double check. Come on, show it to me. Yeah, it did confirm hidden bearish divergence right here on daily RSI, which is usually not the greatest sign. There is one counterpoint that I would have to this, in the sense that whenever you do see bearish divergence, especially within the bearish control zone, or like in the kind of shallow end of it, it, it's usually not going to be like the best example of it. And also this drive is coming in from way back on over here, so it would be a phantom drive. So it's certainly not picture perfect. You really want to see them kind of more around the neutral zone, between like the neutral at 50 and just above the bearish control zone, in this case 40. So I do still look at that as, you know, relevant, obviously. But if you're looking at CME right here, the chart is about as well as you know, about as obviously as you know, as it can get. We got the double, we got the double bottom right there. No, the double sack right there, essentially. And what would actually verify this one as a breakout, in this case to the upside, with technical targets much higher actually, would be any sort of a daily closure above that last rejective high at 44,000 and about 250 in this case. Before, I was saying that I would need to wait for Bitcoin actually close above $47,000. No, I'd actually take that, I'd actually march that down now, seeing as we have a clear and obvious range going on right here. So that would be a range resolution, and this would be an ever so slightly higher low as well. But again, this is hopium right now. I want to be very, very deliberately clear with this. Hopium is not the same thing as like real, you know, real trading, I guess. It's in the cards, yes, but it has to be verified and validated. And in order to validate this setup, that's about 44,200 or so. And obviously that's going to be precipitated by what we spoke about on spot, with either an hourly above about 42.7, I believe it was, or 4 hour above about 42.4. Until one of those three things, or one of those two things happens first, this is all, you know, so far away that it's not really worth talking about. And it's actually more likely that Bitcoin does dig out another low somewhere down around about $40,000 territory. But in this case right here, because there is a technical formation in the format of a descending channel, which does have a higher probability breakout to the upside than the downside, I would, you know, I'd be remiss not to call it out, obviously. And because the validation of this structure would now be a little bit lower, I would actually be moving down the implied target significantly as well. So no longer would the validation imply a move all the way up to about $56,000. It would actually be more around about $54,500 to $55,000 territory. So so that, you know, would be a little bit of a smaller consolidation prize, I do suspect. Anyways, what's also relevant about this, however, is that even if you are the biggest boolah around that region, the problem with this whole thing is that if you are looking at this region right here on a on a bearish Fibonacci retracement, you will notice that the target is directly in line with the 0.5 and the 0.618 right here, which is where you do typically look for your rejective lower highs. I'll give you an example. From way back on over here. This was on a daily, obviously. We were very, very loud about this one coming in from April and May, of course. With Bitcoin getting its first lower low right here, we were saying, hey, it's time to be on lower high watch. And where do we expect lower highs to come in around? Somewhere around the 618 and between there and the 0.5. And that's exactly what we got right here. So it's the same sort of thing going on right here, except this is potentially more powerful if this does play out as, you know, as weakness within this region, because it would be a weekly lower high, of course. And if we get a weekly lower high, then we are within the context or within the midst of potentially constructing our first weekly downtrend in a very, very long time. We're talking all the way back to 2020, I do believe. Yeah, basically coming off of the flu dump right there. So this next month or so of price action is going to be incredibly fucking important. I do want to bring you on over here to momentum oscillators because we do have several things to say about this. I also want to let you know, for all the people who have been asking, this indicator is now actually available on our store. Of course, I always need to say my piece about this. Look, no indicator is going to immediately make you profitable or be like a magic pill of, you know, of any sort. This is really intended for people who already have a strategy in place, and this can add something to it. But and you know, and I also don't want to like not give this indicator and the creator of it not their due like praise as well. At the same time, like, I love this indicator. You know, I use it daily. It, you know, of course I only promote stuff that I actually fucking use myself, but I always want to say that just because well, you know, you just don't want someone thinking like, hey, if I buy this or that, I'm gonna immediately become invincible. It's like, no, there still needs to be a strategy behind it, of which there is a strategy included with it, but still, you know, need to be very, very clear with that, just so people don't get mixed up. Anyways, looking at this right here, we do see that daily stochastic momentum did actually cross the upside yesterday on spot price action, and will be remaining with upside posturing today upon closure above 41,500, which is very fucking interesting now, isn't it? Because that is currently the low of the day, but also that is around the wick low that we saw from 4th of December. And as long as Bitcoin's above there, I do still look at this asset as more likely to put in a major low pretty much within this region over time and work its way upwards and onwards. Until that criteria is invalidated, I actually do run with that as my major assumption. And I've been very, very loud about this for the past couple months here, basically since I think it was early December on that first dump. So actually not a couple months, about a month and a half at this point. But yes, that is still very much available. And whilst all this has been going on, we see the 5-day and the weekly correct fully down here. And, just to kind of call out the last time we did see the 5-day stochastic momentum flip to the upside, that was actually back in July of 2021, the end of July, I should say. And what happened during the end of July in 2021? That was this right here. I'm actually gonna get rid of the add-on. That actually comes with it, just so you know. But that was this right here, the bear trap. This was actually a fucking bear trap right there. Before going from about $30,000 all the way to $69,000 and the new all-time high. On top of that, if we see another sort of iteration coming in from these same sort of lower levels, we do see right here, obviously, January 2020, that was precipitating about a 60% move to the upside, or maybe it was like 65, about 60% move to the upside right there. And then, of course, we did have the flu dump right after that, which did bring it significantly lower. But, you could argue that that's a black swan. Could we get another black swan? Yes, obviously. I mean, it is a non-zero probability for these things to happen. But I just want to call out that when you see the sort of extremes, it does offer up a potential for that. And, of course, the time before that, we did see something like not just similar, but very, very aggressive was, on the 3100 macro cycle lows way back on over here. So I do want to be, a little bit more forthright with talking about that. And we also see that the ADX representing the trend strength is starting to come down and pretty much reset as well. So all of those things kind of working in confluence with each other. I do suspect, kind of aligns with, hey, as long as Bitcoin does not break below that region, we're probably looking at a major low, which, probably sounds like, an obvious thing to say, but it strengthens the case. It adds more and more to the statistical nature of a setup like this, which is why I call these things out. Anyways, if we go down to the lower term timeframes, I do want to see how we're operating right here, of which we do see 4-hour stochastic momentum about to turn down with any sort of a closure below 41,650. So we're seeing a lot of these, a lot of these timeframes align with that 41.5, 41.6 region, essentially, which I do think is quite important. The 12-hour still corrective down here, hard down, I should notice as well, which with HVP incredibly low here too. And I'm actually curious where the 6-hour is right now. I'm going to imagine that it's probably freshly turning down, but no, it's actually not freshly turning down. It's working its way down. 41.9, the magical number right there. Buy hourly is going to be showing what? Come on, show it to me. Buy hourly is going to be freshly crossing down below 42.3, starting to not look so hot right there. And hourly, now this one also down below about 42,400, which again was around the 4-hour level that we called out earlier. So we do see a little bit more things on the downside of this. If you're looking at this from a pure price action standpoint, you're looking at this as potentially a higher low in the making right here on the hourly. But of course, where does it get negated? That gets negated below, well, our same little liquidity zone from yesterday. Realistically, the couple weeks prior, which is on an hourly closure right here. I'd really want to see it close on a new, actually it already did close on a new low. So perhaps it's just a continuation move right here. In that case, we're either looking at a trap in front of our face or we are just looking at continuation. It's that fucking simple. And that's not very helpful because it's basically saying it can go up or down. No, it does mean from a price action standpoint, more likely to go down here than not actually and play out this move, of which that does have a technical target back down to about $40,000 territory. Unless if you do hit basically the bear trap criteria, which would be an hourly again above 42.7 or a 4-hour closure above about 42.4, at which point I would be looking for Bitcoin to work its way back up somewhere around 43.5 to 44,100 or so. That's going to make this look a lot better, especially after a little bit of a trappy behavior like that. Generally speaking, you're probably going to look for things to run the other way. But right now, we're really kind of splitting hairs in this case. Elsa's having a laugh in the background right now because what the hell? You shouldn't be laughing right now. And then, of course, I do want to call out this over here on the daily MACD. We do see that while it does still have upside posturing here, it is... well, it's looking a little bit weaker right now. And by the way, it won't even continue to rise on the histogram if we do fail to close above 41,600 and change right there. So we see a lot of things coming around that region, both the short-term timeframes, the medium timeframes, and the higher, well, which I think deserves a lot of call out, because if you start to see closures below that region, you're not just having a structural breakdown, you're also having momentum turn against it as well. Very likely to see at minimum $40,000 territory, maybe another short-term bounce right around there, and then obviously offers up the potential for a legitimate breakdown into the 38 or so region, which let's actually go fish out exactly, or I wouldn't say exactly, but where that would be likely to kind of come in. And that actually be coming in. What's so funny over there? What's so funny? Elsa's having a laugh.
Someone said that
Whoops.
try to
I don't look Chinese. Fair enough. I'm doing the wrong damn thing over here. I need a rectangle. I need another kindergarten shape over here. I'll be looking somewhere between about 37.5 and 38.5 actually is where I'd be looking for. And very likely a bounce right there. I wouldn't necessarily say that that bounce is going to be like the low for forever or anything like that, but a tradable bounce probably on the short-term time frames. And then long-term structure is going to look pretty fucking wrecked at that point. So probably does break down further south, somewhere around mid to low $30,000 territory. As always, keep in mind that, you know, if Bitcoin were to get like some sort of capitulation event, you do still have the daily gap that we do see on CME coming in back from, of course, the July bear trap right there at about $33,000 to $35,000 territory. And then also, I believe that is a quarterly level as well, and also a Fibonacci level as well. So I think that is enough for me to call out right now. I feel like this is one of the times where, probably going to go down here. Probably going to go down there, or, at least test about $40,000 territory again. But fair enough, man. I don't need to have my opinion necessarily on that. Price action will tell us what to do. But for right now, technically speaking, I should be looking at this as not good, well, at least for the boo laws, as long as we remain above that last little rejective high that you see in the very early morning hours here. So hopefully that was helpful. And there you go for Bitcoin. And let's move on, sirs and zers. Sweet. Okay, cool. All right. Let's see. So where are we at right now? See that Elsa's got a bunch of messages for me. I'm going to pull them up over here. She's having a good old laugh in the background as well. We don't pay you to have fun, so what the fuck is this? And I think that we have Mr. Beast Trader first today. He says Mara, 4 hour and daily. Sure, man. Elsa says to tell the chat not to be funny. That's right. No more jokes. And if there's any laughing, there's going to be hell to fucking pay for it too. Anyways, I've just turned on the alerts for YouTube. Sweet. And we have Mr. Beast Trade. He's looking at Mara. So this is a Bitcoin miner here. Oh, fuck. There's a few things that I forgot to look at on the Bitcoin analysis. Maybe we just briefly look at them after we get through Mara. But yeah, Mara not looking too hot right there, man. I would be looking for this one. Very likely to come back down, fill the gap that you do see. Please tell me this ain't from July. Oh, it's fucking from July, of course. You're already at the one that's slightly above there and already breaking down into another lower high. Yeah, that's not the picture of health and fitness as you might imagine. Yeah. All right, so the thing that I wanted to call out that I completely forgot to on that video was both Dixie and the tether dominance chart. Dixie's recovering right here. So remember, we spoke about this way back on over here in late December, saying that, hey, if we see a breakdown below about 96, I believe it was, just below 96, we'd be looking for a move down to just below 95. We got that move down to just below 95. In fact, it went all the way down to about 94.625, and right now recovering. And this is not bearish, or at least I don't look at this as bearish right now. The only way that would be bearish on this one is if you get something resembling this, where you do start to, put in a little bit of a local high right here and then keel back on over, specifically below this level, which is about 95.5 or so. Below there on a daily closure, yeah, I'd say that this is going to be a bit of a back test and then continuation of the downside, and you have a nice technical breakdown right there. But again, I think that this becomes a lot more sombering for reality when you look at the higher term timeframes, not necessarily the monthly in this case, although that is certainly a higher term timeframe, which is about to flip into a long signal, assuming that it just doesn't break down this month into February. But more importantly, looking at the quarterly and the bi-monthly, wait, stop that nonsense right there. Oopsies, just drawn on my damn charts. We do see, this is looking like a major low. Hidden bullish divergence right there. Very low volatility. Put in a low right around the 55 exponential. And quarterly Jewel has lost its downside curvature and now I've been pointed. But well, all the long signals that we've seen in the past about 10 years here and downside signals have been pretty fucking strong. So, but yeah, I wouldn't feel too good about that, to be honest with you. That would be a little bit more on the bearish side, you might say. A little bit more on the bearish side for Bitcoin, obviously not bearish for Dixie in this case. So I'd really only flip around my analysis on this again with a daily closure below 95.5. Doesn't mean that it can't happen. Of course, it can happen, but for right now, this is looking like it very likely does bust on through here, maybe after a short-term pullback. And then also, what I want to talk about is this: the tether dominance. Both of these certainly more on the bearish side. Tether dominance is certainly within an uptrend, and not just an uptrend; it's within the context of a major macro reversal. In fact, it's already confirmed its macro reversal right here. You got your higher highs and higher lows. Beautiful. Yes, there will be pullbacks along the way. Very even similar chart, of course, to Dixie as well, especially in the more interim. But ultimately, here's what I want to show about something like this, in the sense that let's put it on a line chart right here. And let's compare Bitcoin in orange. And can I compare Bitcoin in orange? Maybe I can't. If I can't bring it up, there we go. We'll do new price scale right there, and you can very quickly identify that these charts are obviously playing opposite of each other, especially within the context of the last couple of years here from October. Now we did see one macro environment where both rallied together. That would be from basically March 2020 all the way up to September 2020 right here. But after that, definitely a bit of a inverse relationship, and that was kind of a one-off, to be fair as well, because you do see the inverse relationship very much consistent back on over here starting in November 2018 actually. So of course, with Dixie kind of completing its own reversal, doesn't really add on to the probabilities that Bitcoin does dig in here, to be fair. But you know what? Hopium only, my friends. It's up only, and all you got to do is just buy and hold, and then there you go. Your ticket to riches, right? You don't need to do anything. No thought involved. All good indeed. Anyways, sorry man, I'm just having a little bit of fun. All right, so let's get back into the comments over here. And let's see, I think we got PD Trader next. Says, Krown, sup player? I am not a player, I am a simp. And you're looking at RPR versus XRP. I'm very unconfident that TradingView is going to have this one, man. So I'm just going to, I don't want to, XRP. Yeah, TradingView is not going to have this one, man. Says the chart is supported by TradingView. It does not look like it's supported by TradingView. Maybe not versus the XRP pairing, perhaps versus... Well, maybe not that as well. Maybe this trick. Nope. Unfortunately, I cannot pull that one up for you, sir. We are, as always, limited by what TradingView has. The best way to figure that out is to just literally try for yourself, and then we can go from there. But yeah, if you wanna hit Elsa up with like an alternative, that'd be a lot better. But yeah, man, it sounds like also you're just you're just kind of marketing for them, which is cool. Anyways, Elijah Smith says, hello, good sir. What's up, brother? Can you take a look at Sol USD daily and forum? Yeah. Let's pull this baby up over here. Where's my Sol? This should be right there. There it is. Found it. And let's go to a daily. And you're looking at both a 4 hour and a 4 hour daily. Yep. Do you expect any form of recovery on price action? Is 170's move still valid if Bitcoin recovers? I hope not, because I'm actually short from about 180. But okay, so looking at this right here, very, 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 very similar price action to Bitcoin. The obvious thing is that you are kind of just dancing around the 200 moving average right here, which, it's not the most wise thing to be shorting directly into even like the second test of that, maybe like the third, fourth, or fifth test. Yeah, it becomes a lot more likely to break down. In this case, I'm guessing this was probably relevant for a 4 hour. I'm going to get rid of that for right now. Do we want to record this one? Yeah, maybe we do record this one. I'm going to take a sip of this water first. Yeah, the Let's Go Brandon guy. I think you can deduce from his name that he's gonna be a tough customer, sir. Probably best for you to turn off the stream and just I don't know, man. Find I don't know. Go to like what's the new one? Rumble. That's probably the place for you, sir. All right, cool. Here we have Solana symbol SOL versus the dollar, and we have a little bit of a range going on in the short term. On the daily time frame right here, based off between about 132.25 and highs about 155. And for right now, you are seeing a bit of a bounce being initiated by the 200 moving average. Not the most wise thing to be shorting on, or at least looking for a breakdown on your first couple tests into that region. What's probably a little more likely to happen over time is something like this, where you do spend a little more time, maybe put another rally up here. But as long as you are operating on lower highs below this $200 level, still going to be bearish, overall. What you really don't want to see is something like this, where it comes to do some, just a slew of lower highs over the course of the next few months. That going up until like March, April, let's say, that would be very, very long-term bearish and would make me very much look for this region of breakdown right here, which is going to initiate targets probably back down around your $110 lows for the first target. But I don't think that things would really stop there. I do think that you'd inevitably come down probably somewhere between about $70 and $80 before the next potential like major macro low in this case. Until then, however, as I check out, I need to actually make sure that I'm doing well over here. Yeah, I'm in a little bit of a trade right now, in fact. Anyways, let me just get rid of this and let's go down to the shorter term time frames. See if there's anything obvious going on right now. 4 hour, you got the same sort of setup as Bitcoin. You will actually confirm a little bit of a short-term local low with any sort of a closure. Even an hourly closure above about 142.5 would do it for me, with targets back up very, very short-term towards 145, 146. And then I actually would be looking at this as your next higher low alongside the 200 simple, and very likely to bounce back up towards the top side of the range, that being about 155. And personally speaking, I do think that you get that next rally into some region like this, that being about 170, 180. So to answer answer your question directly, do I expect any form of recovery on price action? It depends over what time frame you're looking at, but basically what would initiate the move that I think you're probably looking for is going to be this area right here, at least in the way that I look at things. So is 170 move still valid? Yeah, it's very much valid in this case. Anywhere between about 170 and 180 actually is kind of where I'd be looking towards. Let's actually see what a bearish fib would suggest. Yeah, the six spot. Oh Jesus Christ, man, the 618 is right around about 175 or so. So, high probability on the next potential lower high, even if it is super bearish, somewhere between these two guys right here at about 168 to 175 or so. But again, I wouldn't be looking for that move to happen until you actually do clean and clearly close above this region right here. So it really depends on what sort of a time frame that you're looking at. Here's what momentum also to say right here. We do see that daily volatility is on the floor right now. So you're very likely looking at a move, I would say like a big move within the next week. I actually do think that it'll base off here a little bit longer, to be honest with you. And you're really going to be looking for the move like once the actual BBWP itself gets above the moving average on it. Until then, I think you're going to be ranging at the lows between about 155 and your current 135 lows or so. And then, well, once that does happen, you're probably looking at your next big move, which is going to be verified and validated by the break of the range. I'm a little bit more biased towards one more try to the upside first before anything else. But again, whatever Bitcoin does, this thing's going to follow as well. Kind of on the same page as Bitcoin. I do think that Bitcoin's more likely to get another bounce off the $40,000 level, even if it tests down around there again. And then if you really want to be bearish, you're probably just looking for the next major weekly lower high. So in that case, a bit of a waiting game right here. Maybe we just briefly check out momentum from a stochastic perspective as well, just to see if anything's like super obvious. Maybe the daily should have some, the daily is actually turning down right now, but you will notice that it will naturally turn back up with any sort of a closure today above 138.83, which is, about less than $1 away from where it's currently at right now. So that's a nothing. And again, volatility on the floor right here does suggest that, that next move could actually be the one, in fact. So I would actually be looking for a break on that one outside of the range in the next week. So know where the validations are. 4 hours already up above about 136 or so, and hourly is down below about 141 and a half. Kind of difficult to get a full-on bias from that, but this is why we do have ranges, and the short-term time frame range for this one actually the most obvious, in fact. Again, above about 142 and a half. Good. Until then, well, pray to Bula Jesus, I suppose. Hopefully that was helpful. And there you go for Solana, sir. Let's see. TC Elliott Sound says, what? Oh, it's the last one. Okay. Oh, it is Alonzo. Okay, what's up, Alonzo? CRV. Well, what about it? It's like no other context given on this one, but I'm guessing you probably want to see a 4-hour daily, as do most people. Let's see. Let's go over here to a daily. This one's given up way too much of its rally for me to really feel comfortable with it, to be honest with you. I think that we have the same ranges as yesterday still. Oh, I didn't even mark off the downside of it. Jesus. That's a desperate situation where you don't even do that. But that'd be right there at about 4.25 on a daily. Should you be looking at a short-term bounce from this region first? Doesn't look like that, man. That looks like a continuation setup with volatility continuing to increase right here. 4-hour RSI won't even have regular bullish divergence to be shown right now. This is actually rather a surprise for myself, just because this one was showing relative strength here, especially in the last couple of weeks, but giving up that move last week, especially, not the best. I would still be holding close to my guns here in the sense that I actually want to see a breakdown of this level first before I, would officially get bearish on it. But if that does happen, yeah, I'd be looking for moves all the way down to about 335, 340-ish region before the next sort of bounce. Now, long term, still, this is not a bearish chart long term, but it can very easily come back down to those levels if you do see that structural break. So let's go over here to a monthly. Yeah, monthly is not giving me good vibes. Not that you need really good vibes, but 5-day, same thing as well, man. Yeah, if it does take another leg down, which is probably going to be also in line with Bitcoin as well. So if Bitcoin does it, which I think Bitcoin has a little bit more of an obvious structure right here, you're going to see this one very likely follow, and probably looking around about 330 to 340. What would be good on this, at least for the BULAs in this case? Well, where's your last little rejective highs? Even on a 4-hour, and actually it's the same thing on a 4-hour and a daily, it's $5.50 right there. So as long as you're below there, it's just another lower high. I'm sure people are calling this a head and shoulders. It's technically not. You don't really want to see your neckline kind of angled that way, but it's not like this is not like a strong formation anyways. I mean, it's just a lower high. So the obvious thing is waiting for 550 to be taken out. Basically on any time frame, even a shorter term time frame, and then yes, I'd be looking for this one to Do I still have my targets on this one? I'd actually still be looking for this one to crawl its way back up, or maybe not crawl its way back up. I'd be looking for this one to probably zoom a bit. Somewhere around about $10, I think it was. I guess next target would be $8. Yeah, $8 and then $10 after that. You know, obviously one for the next. But yeah, man, hopefully that's helpful on CRV, sir. All right, let's pull back up on over here. All right, we got Cardano. Any new thoughts based on today's price action? No, it is him. It is him. What are you talking about? Oh, Speak Needs just jumped in, sir. All right, there we go. Poopsicle wrapped. Is this real? Is this a real thing? Should I expect a reversal or bounce back with my poop? I hope I didn't get in over my head on this. That would stink if it's just a pump and dump. I think I'm being trolled right now, but let's go check it out. This is cryptocurrency after all. So it's a fucking, oh my God. It is. It's real. It is real. Poop. There's not even just Poopsicle. There's Poop Pay. There's Poop Pay versus Ban, Chainlink, AnySwap, Spooky Token. God, that sounds super legit. All right, you're looking at it versus FTM. This is a chart only a mother could love, sir. I mean, this is the perfect time. Oh, how relevant! Oh God, seems to be a gigantic steaming pile of shit in front of my face right now. Well, I'd have to say I'm not gonna be bullish on this. Probably gonna be bounces. In fact, might even be looking at one soon, but best it does to the upside. This one's going down to shitcoin hell, man. Best it does to the upside is like 0.01, I think, but wow. Learn something new every day in this market, man. You gotta fucking love crypto, huh? Only in cryptocurrency could you get something like that. Okay, so Cardano, yeah, let's go check out Cardano. So yesterday we called a short-term pullback on Cardano, but long-term okay. Let's see if that's gonna hold. No, I'm gonna be wrong about that. This one's gonna be a long-term breakdown. Jesus Christ, man. It did get the bounce of the air that we're looking for, but man, not good. Here we have Cardano symbol ADA versus the dollar. Yesterday we did a video on this one saying that this level was very likely to pull back from that 161 region right here. However, I would have been looking for higher lows right around about 141, of which we are not really getting the price action that would make you very confident of that right now. It does look like we will see a little bit more of a continuation of the short-term downside move, somewhere around about 137 to 138 or so. And I would be looking for a short-term bounce there. But do not confuse short-term bounce with a reversal on this asset right now. I believe this one was event driven, as we did identify yesterday. Someone in the chat said that. So as always, that's going to be very skeptical on any sort of upside rally when you do see the majority of the market kind of down. Anyways, the same sort of conditions for upside continuation would still be, relevant as yesterday. I don't think it's necessarily happening right here. I do think that this one explores a little bit of the downside first. We are going to see the daily jewel come into an area that really hasn't even surpassed in like, Jesus Christ, man, going back to September actually. And once that does turn white, it does say that the short-term volatility-induced move to the upside, the short-term volatility and momentum move to the upside is going to be waning. And in this case, I guess the nectopium is that you set in a higher low, somewhere around about 134, 135. I don't necessarily think that that's happening myself. Let's go to a weekly just really quick. Yeah, getting rejected at the exact area that you would not want to see it get rejected at. Problem is, it's kind of hard to call like a major downside move on this one, just short-term downside. So I do think that this one will continue the short-term downside somewhere around about 136 to 138 or so. I want to briefly check it out over here as well, just to see. And of course, whatever Bitcoin does, this one's going to follow. But if Bitcoin does turn down, you're going to expect to see this one actually much lower than kind of what I'm postulating myself. Daily stochastic momentum is going to freshly cross down today with any sort of closure below 143. So by end of day, 7 p.m. Eastern time, if you do see that condition met, not going to be good. Probably does come back down and initiate a further dump on the daily, somewhere down around about 120 to 1.25. So until then, I do think you're going to see a short-term bounce at the level that we spoke about, but do not confuse short-term bounce with reversal. Yeah, this one's coming hard down below about 153. Even I'm going to guess the hourly is even coming hard down here too. Yeah, but 151 in this case. I'm going to call a continuation of this move, and I think that yesterday's pullback call is going to have to be extended here a little bit. Now, I can also tell you where I'd get bearish for another move, not necessarily to new lows, but at least around your current lows, somewhere around about let's just call it 115, give or take a few cents from that number. That would be with the daily below about 132. So I would still be looking for a short-term bounce somewhere around where we just spoke about, like mid 130s basically. But short-term bounce doesn't mean that it's going to like hold for forever, and this is like not good right here. Again, we had the bearish divergence that we identified on the 4 hour. We saw extreme conditions on 4 hour BBWP. think it's not great. So hopefully that was helpful. And there you go for Cardano, sir. I should actually say though, I guess, you know, if you do somehow do the old flipperoo and get back above about 160, 161, that same level from yesterday, basically, I would be looking for this one to explore and extend this run significantly, you know, 185 to 190 or so over time, and then probably doesn't even stop there. I'd probably be looking towards about $2.50, you know, in the following month or two. But of course, that's a little bit more hopium than I'm comfortable with giving right now, as you know, look, if Bitcoin does turn down here, this thing's going to probably get smashed on the face as well. So there will be bounce along the way. I don't think that it'd completely shut the bed today, for example, but I do think a little bit more of the short-term continuation downside move, very likely a bounce there, and then we'll come back to it tomorrow and see if it's setting up for continuation towards another downside move after that. Hopefully that's helpful. And there you go for Cardano, sir. Last one. Gotcha. Okay. That is an underscore? Hello, Mr. Underscore. Proton chain XPR weekly monthly. Got it. I was confused one with XRP, Ripple, of course. Anyways, we'll pull it up over here. Not fucking good. In fact, I'd actually rather be looking at Ripple in this case. Pretty fucking bad right here. Already retesting the low, so it is certainly relatively weak within the context of this market, which is already clinging on to its lows. I think that we looked at this one maybe last time on a weekly. It's already broke that level, so we can just even redo this chart for the... you are asking about weekly and a monthly. Okay, fair enough. Monthly, not really much of a chart right here, although the chart that we do have is pretty damn bad. Maybe OKX going to have more. Not as bad on OKX, but still, this is like not what I would call bullish. Sorry, man. Daily, ugly, very, very ugly as long as you're below about 1.5 cent. Above 1.5 cent, I would start to be calling this a bit of a bear trap going on right here with targets back up, probably somewhere around your wick highs from early January in this case. But again, I feel like I'm feeding you a bit more of hopium. You know, where would I be starting to mark this one off? It would actually still be your 4th of December wick low right here. Or sorry, in this case, it's actually the 6th of December. I guess a daily closure below there. I am looking for this one to continue with the downside meltdown, probably somewhere just below 1 cent even, somewhere around about 9.5 tenths of a cent. Would be my next area for a bit of a bouncy bounce. Until then, you know, if Bitcoin turns down here, this thing's going to very, 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 very likely outperform to the downside. If Bitcoin turns up here, I think best it does see upside is somewhere around about 1.8 cent, initiated and validated by a closure, even on the short-term time frame above. If you're going to use a short-term time frame, let's say about 1.57 cent in this case. So, you know, the hopium's there, but I don't think that this thing's going to be strong on its own. Long-term, hard chart to love, to be quite honest with you. So, yeah, hopefully that was helpful. And there you go for that, sir. AJ Johnny says, favorite coffee, don't tell me supermarket stuff. Actually, funnily enough, I do go to the supermarket for my coffee simply because it's quite convenient for myself. But yeah, man. Sometimes I go to like a proper coffee house as well, but I don't know, they're so fucking like just up their own Angus there with shit. It's quite annoying. Also, they have the old passport going on right now too, so I can't actually really even stay there as well. Anyways, FD Lux says, hey sir, hope you're well. I am well, man, or at least I think I am. Didn't get the best night of sleep, but it's all good, man. Shitcoin alert, can I get a baby doggy coin on a daily and weekly? Oh fuck my Angus, man. All right, baby doggy. Oh dear lord. How did this thing get on OKX is the real question. I'm gonna guess CoinX is the... Well, that's not very helpful right there. Maybe OKX is the one to go to. Ah, that's actually pretty fucking good chart. Holy shit. That's a surprise. Daily and weekly. Weekly's good. Bullish, long term. Daily. Do we extend a pullback here? Hold on. Let's see. BBWP still trending up. Daily RSI looks weird as all hell. Don't know what to make out of that, man. To be honest with you, 4 hour. What do we see right here? We do see a bit of a range, and I actually do think that it probably retests the downside of the range here first, 47.60 or so before anything else. And then if you do see a bounce that brings it back above your current short-term 4 hour high, which is 57.80, at that point I'd be looking for your continuation run. Do we have any sort of long-term targets on something like this? Which I really would not trust, to be honest with you, just because its name is Baby Doggy, man. Like that's usually a bit of an issue. But I guess I'd be looking towards about 67 to 7,000, whatever the hell that number is right there, just in this box right here. something like that. Until then, I actually do think short term you're coming down a little bit more. If you do break below your current lows from this region right here, 17th of January on a 4-hour closing basis, I'd extend downside targets significantly, somewhere back down around here in this case, that being about 3,800 or so. So, you know, technically speaking, actually, it's actually the best chart that we've looked at today, which is kind of, well, it's one of those days, man. It's one of those days. So fair enough. Anyways, NWB says if we do get a pitch, what is no? Okay. Oh, it's Bob Blazarian. Gotcha. AKA Turbo Man. It's Turbo Man. Holy shit. Save us from this monstrosity of a market, man. OG here. I know that, man. I've seen you for a long time. 4-year roller coaster ride of green and red popsicle sticks. Love your TA programs. Thanks, man. I'd love to share my professional background, any trading experience, maybe Discord DM. You can always do email. My Discord DMs are actually closed. Not for anything personal. It's just like I was getting overloaded in the past, and it's just, I was like spending all my day in Discord DMs and I just couldn't do it anymore, man. But email would be good. Or if you're just in the Discord, you can just tag me in a post, man. And if it's like something that, you know, other people might find valuable, that would also be good. You know, everyone can kind of learn from it and have a discussion around it. That doesn't necessarily need to, you know, maybe someone else has some more interesting to say than myself. I mean, in fact, that typically is how it goes anyway. So yeah, man, I'm always available there just by tagging myself, or email if it's like a little bit more personal. That's fine too. So yeah, man, Eric at crowntrading.net. NWB says, if we do get the capitulation to mid to low 30s, do you expect a strong bounce in the immediate short term back to the low 40s? Yeah. Yeah. So if Bitcoin were to do something like, whoops, let me go over. Well, define short term would be the real question. Let's go over here to CME. I don't know about low 40s, but I would be expecting a strong bounce back up to the upper 30s, like 38 to 39, same day actually, if Bitcoin did get something like that, simply for the hash ribbons indicator signal that I've been speaking about. Now, of course, it doesn't mean that has to be, you know, following through like for the rest of life, but at the same time, you know, it has been very consistent over the past 12 to 13 years. So I would still be running with that until proven otherwise. But basically, I'd want to see something like this within, you know, within preferably a day. It's going to be like this, and then pop back up over here. I think at most a week is kind of where I'd kind of cut the lines on that one. Yeah, I don't really have anything else to say other than that. It also depends how Bitcoin gets a capitulation, right? You know, what's a true capitulation? Let's actually just, you know, go over that right now. Well, the most obvious example is going to be right here, right? Over, you know, over the flu dump, right? And again, would you call this immediate? I mean, some people wouldn't. I would say within the context of history, yeah, it was a rather immediate bounce. This was a very severe bounce. I mean, same day it bounced up like, when Bitcoin was like $4,000, it bounced up, you know, significant amount, like 30%. You know, that's big time right there. Actually, even more than that, to be fair. That was a fucking humongous day. That was a 43% day right there. Jesus Christ. Which typically don't see at the upside. You can see it to the downside, but typically not to the upside. Anyways, you know, that's kind of about the context that I'd be expecting on a true capitulation, but you know, it doesn't necessarily need to be like that as well. You know, if we go back and we see something like this, where it kind of grinds out the lows, and it's, you know, it's not really that stark. You create a bit of a trading range. I mean, this took about 3 months, right? So it doesn't have to be like that. No, doesn't have to be like that. It's like, it's more along the lines of you analyze the response after it's happened, and then that plays into the buy. So if you do see a very strong bounce like what you saw in March 2020, then it's, you know, it's probably a little more relevant to be, of course, more aggressive on the long side. Whereas if you see some, like you did see in 2018, 2019, where you get rejected at the range highs. So in this case, that'd probably be around about $40,000 territory. That's where you're probably in for a much more a prolonged sideways price action movement. Let's go into here to low term time frames. Actually, want to see what Bitcoin's doing right now. What are you doing, Bitcoin? Just kind of swinging at the lows right now, swinging your little green dildo at the low, or your little red dildo at the low right now. And not really giving us too much to be speaking about right here. All right, cool. Let's see. PD Trader says, can we retry that on Super Chat? Sure, man. Solo, man, you are just in shitcoin heaven now, aren't you? Solo, Solo USD. Also not on TradingView. Again, man, just check on TradingView yourself if you're unsure, man. Oh, well, yeah. If you do mean Solana, then we've already got that one as well. So all good right there. But yeah, All right, cool. Let's see. We got Jack next. He says, "Good morning, Krown. What's up, man? Cardano. Yep, we got that one earlier. I think you asked about a 4-hour, and I think we already did a 4-hour, but let's just double check right here. Looks like we are heading down towards that next region. Yeah, about 136.5, and I'm probably looking for a short-term bounce right there. Again, short-term bounce is not the same thing as reversal. Bounces can come back up to like even the shallow 140s and still be bearish. I'm probably looking at this as another rejective lower high, to be honest with you, man. That's just the Cardano way, man. Just the Cardano way, and this one can base out at its current lows for a much more prolonged time. The only way that I really look at this as potentially, your next major lows, if you do bounce off of that, mid 130 region and then close the day, let's say, back above about 144, 145 region, that would look a lot better in this case. Until then, yeah. And again, if Bitcoin fails here, Cardano is very likely to fail as well. Back down to its lows, like below somewhere around 120, maybe a little bit lower. Stevie K says, "Sir Krown, please not rip me a new bunghole for requesting such a new asset. Can we check Lux USD?" It's not that I'm gonna rip you a new bunghole. It's just usually they don't look that great. We can pull it up over here, man. Very, very new, man. It's been around for like a week. It's been around for a week, man. You know what I'm going to say about this. It actually has a great chart on the hourly. I don't know if that's relevant for you. Okay, maybe it is. You're asking about one an hour and 4 hour, but I don't even think that I'd really have a good idea on the 4 hour. I mean, this is continuation. You got a higher low. It's it's generally just going up and to the right for right now. You do see your pullbacks into low volatility alongside momentum oscillators once again pointed up. I'm probably gonna be looking for continuation from here, but I just don't trust charts that are this new. So let's say that this is perfect, and and let's just kind of ignore what I said earlier about that. Where I'd be looking for on the next continuation move, probably somewhere between about $6 and $6.20 or so. And I do think that this one will continue right here. I mean, this is fine on the hourly, but I don't have any other opinion that takes it further than that, man. My other opinion would be on invalidation, and where's my invalidation on something like this? Below $4.50. So for right now, I would actually still be looking up and to the right. Hourly Jewel is continuing to show another upside move, as is BBWP expanding right there. Generally going to be a continuation move. So generally be looking for something like that, man. Let's see. Okay, we got the damn Proton. We got that. Mark Wilson said, damn, sorry, let me see which. Okay, I meant to put 208 instead of 210 for MATIC price. Okay, got it. So you're looking at MATIC, and you're saying thoughts on playing short from breaking 208. Okay, so you're talking about a hypothetical situation where, well, it's already below 208. Hold on. Am I understanding this? Okay. I meant to put 208 instead of 210 for MATIC. Would you be able to modify that detail? Yes. But what the fuck are you saying? Thoughts on playing short from breaking? It's already below 210, man. I don't know what you're talking about. It's already below there. So if you're looking for that trade, it's already happened. Maybe you're talking about on like maybe a quick move back up to refill that region. I mean, would you like reshort it if it did come back down, back around there? Probably not. No. This one's continuing from here, most likely to new lows on the short term. Probably back down towards 190 to 192 or so. Let's see. Do I still like this chart long term? Is a real question. Let's actually record this one too. Here we have Polygon, symbol MATIC versus the dollar, and it looks like we're going to continue on with a short-term down move, probably somewhere down around about 190 to 193 or so. Anywhere down around here is fine. In fact, I'm going to put in a nice little blue box of peace and prosperity, or perhaps even death and destruction if this area gets wrecked. I mean, Jesus Christ, this thing is going to be coming much, much lower. But for right now, I'm just looking for a move somewhere down around here. Actually, maybe a little bit higher than that. Somewhere right around there would be fair game. And then very likely a short-term bounce if that's relevant for you. If I'm looking at a daily right now, which you did ask about, but it doesn't really make sense within the context of your actual question. But if we do see a break below this level, specifically below your 8th of January wick lows, I would be looking for big continuation down to about 165 to 170 region. Long term, weekly, is this one destroying its long term formation? Not yet. Not yet, but below the 190 region, yeah, it's gonna start to start to do that, and I'd be looking not to 170, more like 160-ish region, give or take a few cents from that over time. long-term monthly, how we looking like right here? Still just be another backfill on last month open. So I should refrain from getting like, you know, bearish on something like this, like full on bearish on something like this until we get a validation like that. But for right now, you know, you can see that it's very, 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 very close. And the next target down would be significantly lower, basically around about low 160s, upper 150s, essentially. Let's see, what about a quarterly on this one? Just out of curiosity, quarterly is still good long-term. So I'm going to generally be looking at these like greater pullbacks as potential, you know, potential to get into potentially long-term positions. Potential, saying too many damn potentials. Just want to see what momentum oscillators are suggesting over here. If we're seeing daily like freshly turning down, that's going to be a pretty good indication that we probably are going to see that move. And that's exactly what we're seeing right here below 220. Not great, man. 5-day 287, not great as well. Weekly freshly down. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that this one very likely does initiate that next move down at minimum to like low 190s, which I think we're getting right now. You know, do we break below that region? I do think there's a pretty good chance of that somewhere down around about 160-ish region. So hopefully that was helpful. And there you go for MATIC. The only way that I'd invalidate this one is back above basically 3 days ago high at about 245. Above there, yeah, all good in the hood yet again. Correction over. Can talk about NUPL to my party. Tell them I think this one's going for a bit more of a deeper correction here. So hopefully that was helpful. And there you go for Polygon, sir. Gotcha. Oh, you're looking at NASDAQ. Yeah, let's go look at NQ futures here. Got 15. Yeah, this one I think we were bearish on a couple days ago, and be bearish on it still. I do think it's setting up for a bounce here relatively soon. You're very, very close to the 200 simple. I believe last we looked at it, we said somewhere down around 15,000 even. Pretty much gotten that. It's a few, ticked a few bucks above there. Might grind it out one more time, but I would be looking for a bounce off that level, and then long term on the weekly, I actually do think that this one's setting up for continuation here. This is starting to look a lot more like a major top. We're seeing volume pouring in on the breakdown of levels. We're seeing volatility starting to take up on, again, a breakdown of levels. I mean, this is not a good setup for like a long-term bounce or anything like that, just short-term stuff. So while short-term, I do think it's going to bounce maybe officially right around here if we go down to an hourly. Yeah, you might even be initiating that relatively soon here. To be fair, you might have already kind of hit that relevant level anyways. Generally speaking, on the weekly, I am looking for this one to come back down somewhere around 14.6-ish to 14.7-ish region in the following weeks. Maybe even sooner rather than later. I mean, that's not great right there. Monthly, same thing, bearish divergence right there. Technical target would be actually significantly lower, in fact. Probably doesn't play out this month, for example. I would think at earliest this would be like February, March. But that would be somewhere right around about 13,750 or so, just kind of eyeballing it right here. So yeah, the setup is certainly there. I have no reason to be bullish on this chart, especially as long as you're below what would be your little throwback right here at about 15.9. Yeah, there's going to be bounce along the way. In fact, I think you're going to be initiating one relatively soon here, probably this week. But I don't think that bounces, or I mean, I shouldn't say that. I don't think that bounce is going to be reversed. It's just, it ain't a reversal as long as you're below 15.9. So, or what was it, 15.8? 15.8 or 15.9, whatever it was right there. Anyways, hopefully that was helpful. And there you go for NQ, sir. All right, sweet. I think we have, no, we do not have. We got Mr. Bob Samarsik next. Hey, what's up, man? Let's fucking go, indeed. Mr. T says STX BTC. All right, so this is Stacks, I think. Stacks BTC. What the? What? Yeah, I did all the yellows right there. All right, so we're good on that. You're saying stacks, okay, daily and weekly, supposedly DeFi on Bitcoin. That actually be super cool, man. DeFi is where I started to understand that, or started to really look at crypto as like, oh shit, it can do something cool now. Pretty good here. I know that this wick would be rather concerning if you saw this on like a more liquid asset, but this is not a liquid asset, I'm guessing. And daily, I'm just looking for this one to play back down somewhere around low 5,000 Satoshi. You know, specifically like specifically about 5,000 Satoshis, and then try for a bounce right there. That actually be completely fine. 4 hour, same thing. You know, short term, a little bit of continuation on the downside. Don't really have a reason to be bearish on this thing as long as you're closing daily doodles below basically yesterday's wick low, which is 46.50. Below there, I would be looking for much deeper corrections. In this case, somewhere back down around, what is this, just below 4,000, so that'd be a much nastier correction. But long term, not bad here, man. This one's generally up and to the right, and I'm generally going to like a chart like this for what it's worth. Anyways, let me just see what the next continuation targets would be. Yeah, so you did sell off on the 2-spot extension right there. Again, that's fine. I mean, well, It's a little bit deeper than what you probably would have liked, but you know, that is to be expected. Probably more long-term, I'm looking for this one, you know, in the following months, assuming that invalidation is not met, for moves up to maybe even 10,000 plus Satoshis. So yeah, probably gonna be a while, but hopefully that was helpful. And there you go for stacks, sir. Considering buying some with Bitcoin. I mean, if that really is what they're doing, I mean, that sounds like a pretty good idea to me, man. Let's see Bitcoin breaking down a little bit more. Let's see where we are at on this one. And what are you doing, Bitcoin? Still, oh, we are below the blue box of death and despair right there, which again, remember, that's kind of more formality because we did break it yesterday officially, in fact. So, you know, do you have to play this as bearish in the way that I look at it below about 42.5? Let's just call it 42.5, make it nice and simple, nice and round and even right there. AJ True says FMG Fortescue Metals on ASX. Okay, all right, FMG. This thingy. Okay, you're on a daily and a weekly. Bad. Wait, hold on. I was on a different time frame right there. Maybe not so much. Let's go to a weekly. Come on, weekly, show it to me. I would be looking for this one to pull back, but I wouldn't necessarily say it's just blindly bad right here. So what I'm looking for, man, Bitcoin's bouncing around a lot right there. I kind of want to play that move. You know, I am looking for a pullback from this region. You know, you're testing the bullish control zone for the first time since like July. Very likely to pull back in the next, you know, over the next couple weeks at minimum to like 1940 to 1950. Maximum, if it's going to be bullish, somewhere around about 1880 or so. I would get quite bearish on this one, however, with any sort of a weekly closure below about 1830. That's where I look at this as a failed lower high, or not a failed, but it is a lower high in a series of two lower highs and lower lows. So I would be looking for this one at that point to come all the way back down to its like $13 base or so, $14 base. Until then, just short-term pullbacks, and I should be looking for higher lows around that region. Yeah, I'm very likely looking for pullbacks right there. Just don't want to see it below about 1830 or about 1830 or so. Even on a daily closure, that would be rather nasty in this case. So hopefully that was helpful. There you go for FMG. Sir, what?
You did Bob's super chat?
Yeah.
Did you skip his coin? Because he says you skipped his coin.
I didn't see a coin attached with it, so he obviously did not include it in the chat. Mr. Bob. Bob! God damn it, Bob. What ticker was it, man? If you could include that, that would be amazing.
No, it says ELA BTC
ELA?
I'll just, there's punch.
All right. God damn it, Bob. Yeah, just one, man. We can only do one at a time. Okay, ELA BTC. Gotcha. ELA BTC. Oh, okay. Maybe just versus the dollar is gonna be a little bit easier. Probably a more interesting chart as well. Let's see. So you're looking at ELA. Man, I haven't heard this one since like 2018. You definitely are an OG. Good chart. Actually, in fact, one of the few good charts that we're going to see today. It looks like. Now, I would be looking for a pullback relatively soon. Just, I mean, Jesus Christ, you got a shit ton of wick highs right here. Let's see, what time frame are you on? Multi-year breakout. Well, if that's going to be the case, we're going to be looking at a weekly. Yeah, I think it's quite close here. I'd actually want to see it validate though. I mean, it's quite common to kind of pull back from regions like this, so I wouldn't be too excited about it just yet, but it's getting there, man. Just want to see it actually close above this region right here, and then yeah, I'd be looking for this one to retest around its May 2021 highs actually. So again, it's going to be, I do think it's going to be quite difficult for something like this to break out on a day like today when Bitcoin's, you know, more or less retesting the lows. In fact, it might even be in the context of breaking down right now. Yeah, it's very, 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 very close right there. I mean, that is basically a continuation move as it stands. So in this case right here, I'd be a little bit more skeptical of it, to be honest with you. But this is a good setup for the long term. It's just I don't think it's a setup for like today, for example. I do think you're going to probably pull back from this region, maybe back down to about 480, somewhere just below $5 or so, and then try for a little bit of a bouncy bounce. And at that point, you know, maybe sets it up for a break coming into February, you know, middle of February, something like that would actually look quite good. But yeah, man, hopefully that was helpful. And there you go for that, sir. All right, cool. Let's see. Where was I now? Okay, we got that. We got MATIC from Mr. Moon K. And we got Monkey Boy says, good morning. Hey, thanks, man. I'm feeling better. Thank you. Just a nice positive message. Appreciation for that, sir. And all the best to you. Mr. Jesus Venegas says, GLMR 1 and 2 hour, please. It's a new but a pair Chan winner. All right. It's just one of those days, ain't it? GLMR. All right, this thing, it's on a bunch of exchanges. So, and it's been around for 2 whole weeks. Not even 2 whole weeks, but 1 week and a few days. Not great. Look, again, it's going to be very difficult for most things to put in rallies, especially with Bitcoin doing its thing right now. The hopium is that you get back up about 944. Until then, this is a continuation formation right here. Let's see, where is your continuation confirmed? Actually, not right there. It'd be right here. Where would your next targets be? Probably back down around your prior, pretty much all-time lows, that being about 840 or so. Upon validation below about 863 in this case. Until then, the hopium alongside kind of Bitcoin as well is that you're bouncing off your current lows from the last few days here, and then you flip back around about 945. If that does happen, I'm looking for a nice rally attempt, probably somewhere right around your last major meltdown at about 1015, 1020-ish region. Until then, definitely not my favorite chart of the day. Definitely one of the weaker charts that we've seen, even in the short-term time frames. But you know, Bitcoin. Look, if Bitcoin breaks down here, like it pretty much is right now, you're just unlikely going to see any of these things do well. And I mean, look, this is, it's running out of hopium, man. It's running out of fucking opium right there. Barring like a Jesus Christ dildo in the next 42 minutes on this next 4-hour closure. But yeah, I think the hopium fumes are slowly dissipating right now. Cool. All right. We got AK McCarr. Got an interesting one for you. Cream 4-hour daily. Okay. Is this the one that keeps on getting hacked? Cream Finance, I think it is. Let's see. Yeah, you can close them right now. My voice actually starting to hurt a little bit, to be honest with you. Cream putting in a little bit of a high right there, man. Short-term high as well. Are you what time frames are you on? 4-hour daily, 4-hour. I'm gonna guess it's probably confirming a little bit of a local high right here. It is. I am looking for this one to come back down around its lows, somewhere around its lows from. I'm guessing this was last week, 17th, 18th of this month. Actually, just a few days ago. Again, as long as Bitcoin's kind of shown a little bit of downside here, I mean, it's not even showing downside, it's like continuation. I'm looking for this one to do kind of something similar as well, man. So in this case, probably somewhere back down around about low 55. Yeah, I pinned it. Relax, sir. Anyways, below there, if you do start to actually break below, and let's see, this was 17th of January lows, I would be looking for a significant extension. And when I say significant extension, I mean another $10 down on a $55 number, which is, oh man, that could be quite nasty. Something like this. Yeah, about another 20% move to the downside. So do be aware of that. But for right now, I'll just be looking for another retest around its lows. That's okay still. You can still make some arguments, or sorry, some hopium for it. But what you really want to see, obviously, and what actually validates this one is, a significant uptrend, or at least another try around your prior highs, would be even an hourly dildo closure above yesterday's spike high, which is about $70 or so. Until then, man, it's this one very likely coming back down to test its lows. The hopium is that it gives you another bounce off those lows, and Bitcoin doesn't break itself as well. Anyways, moving on, we got Don Visa's near 2-day and weekly. All right, let's go check out near. No one talks about near this whole damn week, so that's probably a bad sign. Probably a bad sign. Remember last week we called out a target to $20. Did we get our target to $20? Yeah, we did. In fact, it actually even overshot it by about $1 right there. That's fine though. Is this one putting in a major high right here? It's still among some of the better charts long term, but I do think it's going to be heading for a bit of a corrective phase right now. Daily RSI, bearish divergence, daily BBWP. Not really extremes right here, but it is looking to go into a bit of a contraction phase. So I'm looking for this one to consolidate, and that does imply in this case probably sideways and down from here. But you still got higher lows as long as you're above about 14 and a quarter especially. So I'd actually be looking to that as potentially an opportunity. Daily Jewel turning down as well, not great. Weekly says, I'd be looking at this as a potential opportunity right here. Anywhere down towards that low $15 number, I'm looking for bounces out there at minimum, maybe even the next major higher low in this case. But yeah, 4-hour bearish. I'm looking for this one somewhere down around about $15.5 to $15 base or so. All right, sweet. Hey, HD not lost. First off, if you want the Krown app working, make sure that you're not on like the Brave browsers and shit like that. What? He's on mobile. Okay, he's on mobile. Yeah, that's gonna be an issue. All right, well, whatever. Anyways, hard refresh is probably the name of the game right there. Michael Wong says, hey, what's up, man? Flux daily, weekly on KuCoin. Okay, symbol FLUX. Okay, USD right here. All right, let's see what we got. And you are okay. Yeah, you got daily and weekly. 4 hours breakdown. I guess that daily's probably breakdown. Daily is a big bad breakdown. In fact, broke your last lows yesterday. So that's gonna imply some continuation. Weekly, you don't really have much of a chart here, but it ain't good for what you do have. So that's That's going to wreck all of the hopium right there, man. I'm looking for this one to come back down to your lows from late December, actually. 4 hours, rather ugly here, too. That is a fresh breakdown, man. Not good. Volume pouring into the breakdown as well. Volatility ticking up, and it's got room to go. I'm looking for continuation right there, man. Let's see. AJ. Oh, wait, no, I already got that one. Yes, I do drink the supermarket coffee. It's convenient, man. It's all about convenience. It's all about time. All right, FTT says Kajitan. Okay, FTT USD. 1 and 4, so you're on lower term time frames. Remember, this one actually had a pretty good move over the weekend, I think it was. Yeah, it ain't bad right there. I'm looking for this one to try for another bounce somewhere around about 43 on the 4 hour. On an hourly, same thing. I actually do play this, or let me look at the daily for a second here. Getting a rejection where you don't want to see a rejection, but you know, I do think at worst it comes back down somewhere around like your, oh, I guess I already have this one charted, but really need a, let's just give it a nice little box right there. If this one really does break down with the rest of the market, I'm just looking for it to come back down somewhere right around here between about 37 and 38 and a half. Now that is probably not relevant towards you since you're asking for short-term timeframes, but I just want to be aware of the higher-term timeframe relative to that right now. Just short-term, I'm looking for continuation back down around here, 43 bucks. I'd be looking for another short-term bounce there. If the bounce fails to take you back above this region right here, however, 45 and a quarter, even on an hourly closure, I'd be looking for that next major move to play out to the downside with targets down, probably just behind $40 or so. Again, whatever Bitcoin does, this one's going to likely follow. So Bitcoin does actually break down to 40,000 bucks here. If we don't see like an epic bounce in the next, let's say about 47 minutes or so at the end of the hour here, you're probably going to see most things come down and retest around their prior lows in the next week or so, maybe even sooner rather than later in this case. But yeah, man, hopefully that was helpful on that one. I think we got the last one of the day right here. We have Mr. Suppressive Fire says AXS axes. Yeah, we haven't looked at axes in a long time. I think last we looked at it, it was breaking down. So let's see if it's probably below that $100 number. Yeah, way below that $100 number. Actually, in our next blue box right there. Hey, not bad, but well, it is bad, but but it played out, so that's good. All right, let's just extend this for what we're looking at right now. Another drive of hidden bearish divergence right there. Probably has at least one more official drive back down to around your lows from 10th, 11th of this month, January. And I'd be looking for another bounce attempts right around there. But if you're on well, here's the thing. This one's actually quite similar to Bitcoin. We really only need 2 trend lines right here. Look, there's your range highs on the daily. Here's your range lows. Break below your range lows, which would be confirmed even on a 4-hour closure below that wick low that you saw from 10th of January, which is 65.15. I would be looking for the next major move to the downside, and we're going to move that blue box down here, which is going to be between about 55 and 65 or so. Upon validation below there. The hopium, and this is kind of in line with Bitcoin as well, is that you swing back around, retest your lows, and then come back above that last rejected high right there. That would be good, obviously. Initiating moves back up towards your last breakdown region from early January. But until then, man, you know, this one's acting a little bit more relatively weak in the short term. Here's what the weekly looks like here. This one showing major continuation or not. It is looking like a bit of a breakdown setup, to be honest with you, man. That just looks like a chart that's slowly slouching over. Looking at the weekly right here, you know, I'd probably be looking for my greater bounces, maybe a little bit lower, just around or maybe just below $60 or so. I do think it's a little more likely to do something like this and dip into that blue box and then pop up. That's at the point where I probably look for that move somewhere around the 618 or the 0.5. Which would be between like actually in the shallow 100s, in fact. And at that point, if you get any weakness right around here, that's going to be really fucking ugly. So something like that. Anyways, I won't complete the LARP lines right there just because, you know, we're pretty damn far away from that right now. But look, very likely to retest the lows right here. See you break below the lows, put on your fucking hard hats because this thing has a lot more low to go. Anyways, hopefully that was helpful, and there you go for Axie, sir. All right, cool, man. Yeah, we did MATIC, Lawrence. I'll actually hang out here and talk for just another 10 minutes if people are just game right now. So I don't have any more super chats, but that's, you know, by design right now. I see philosophy and that some of these clowns need to get the fuck out. I mean, you know, it's an open community, man. You gotta deal with the people that come in. That's what comes with the territory. We meet some great people. We meet some less inspiring people as well. It's all good. Joseph Valkov says Moon Raccoon. This time I did short it, but I got stopped out. So the joke's on me in the end. You got stopped out on, I'm guessing, on, well, basically anything in this market right now. So I'm guessing this move right here probably got you. And yeah, I mean, that's what a move like that is designed to do. And that's kind of the importance of playing, a trend, a trend for your stop loss in this case, which I've kind of really resolved to do in my own trading behavior as well. Basically what that means is that, hey, look, as long as you're operating within the context of these lower highs, I'm just marching my stop losses down from lower high to lower high to lower high essentially. And yeah, Bitcoin initiating a little bit more gas to that pedal right now on the downside move. And here's the thing with Bitcoin right now is that when we go back on over here, when we go back on over here and we can populate this chart, we're going to see full hour stochastic momentum turn to the downside officially below 41,671. And remember, this closure is coming in about 32 and a half minutes or so. So I won't be on for this one because my throat's a little bit kind of shaky right now. But assuming that Bitcoin doesn't bounce back up, basically reclaims, around this region right here, essentially the blue box territory that we have marked off right here. Very, 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 very likely to maybe back test it, but ultimately I would be looking for the continuation move. I mean, that was the call from yesterday's video based off of a break of this region right here, which we actually did get on the hourly. So I kind of have to play this one as lower high for right now. What's up? HD not lost. Please send an email to support@crowntrading.net. You're making Elsa, Elsa's gonna lose her mind. It's a much better way to figure out those issues, man. Anyways, Krown, do you think this is a bear trap for FOMO investors? Is it a bear trap for FOMO investors? That doesn't make sense. A bear trap for FOMO sorry, man. I think you mean bull trap for FOMO investors, because if you're FOMO investing, you're probably like you're trying to force those people out of their positions, and you force them out by trapping them. Your bull trap was ages ago, man. This was your bull trap over here on this move. Once Bitcoin broke down below 63,500, the daily trend was reversing. So fair enough. Anyways, looks like Bitcoin might have one last little bouncy bounce in it. Let's see if it can reclaim the bottom end of the blue box territory. If it can, hey, all right. If it can't, not great, not all right. In this case, again, about 41. I mean, this is like the last of the hoping right here. 41.6. Got about 30 minutes to do in this case. Can you show an example of the Krown cross? Yeah, it's actually quite simple. We have an example right here in front of our face. So the way that I play is I do trend first on the daily, and then I want to be looking for the crosses in the same direction on that on, let's say, a 4 hour, for example. So in this case, I want to see the 55 trading above the 21, trading above the 9. In this case, you have it right here, right? Then I want to see low volatility into a move like that, which is what you see right here. And then I want to see bearish divergence or hidden bearish divergence into a move like that, which is what you see right here. So yeah, that's like my prize strategy right now, in essence. And what I spend my time doing a lot of it, like yesterday, for example, where I didn't even make one trade yesterday. I just kind of sat on my hands for the most time, is I try to be productive by just putting in slight little variations on that strategy with, where I'm going to have my risk management, or where I'm going to be taking profit. Maybe it's going to be a little more aggressive. Maybe it's going to be a little more conservative. And then I try to maximize my time effort that way. But yeah, that's the base of the strategy. So what I do is, and someone was asking about this yesterday in the Discord, so perhaps it would be relevant for me to talk about this, but basically I come up first with the base strategy, which is what I just showed you right there. And then I record all the statistics for that, 100 iterations of the most recent examples. Once I have that, I look at that as like default neutral stats, and then I start to test all of the variations of it. And usually it's a waste of time, to be honest with you. Usually it ends up being worse when I try to change something. But yesterday I actually did find something that's a little bit better, but it's not necessarily better. It's just tighter margins on the wins, but a bit more of a higher winning percentage right there. Tissur Master says, sell everything. Is it time to sell everything? Is it capitulation? That sounds like capitulation to me, sir. Let's see. You want to look at ICP? I mean, we'll maybe look at one or two more, man. But I do want to. Yeah, you can post me a good question if you want. ICP. This is Faraz's favorite shitcoin. Not good, man. This one's breaking back down towards its lows from late December, I imagine, somewhere around 24 to 25. Flipper70 says, hi Krown, how do you think the war in Ukraine would affect the crypto traditional markets? In the short term, very likely downside volatility. In the long term, well, in the long term, defense stocks are obviously probably going to do pretty damn well. Risk off assets will generally do well, but I would imagine like an oil, for example, which is probably going to be impacted by a conflict like that, that would probably, it'd probably go up just because, there's going to be like a scarcity of it, I imagine. It depends. It depends. Like, would a stock like that benefit from it or not? I wouldn't just say a blind thing like, no, everything's going to go down. Most things will go down. But the risk off assets should go up, and usually commodities and stuff will kind of trade in that fashion, being the inverse of it. But initially, upon like the first day of it, just like what's it called? Oh, there Bitcoin goes. Just like March 2020, right? That inevitably was kind of generally speaking, a good event for Bitcoin, kind of. But I wouldn't say like the initial reaction of it was good, right? So the response of that typically takes a long time to kind of evolve. And in the short term, you're usually looking at, everything going down in unison with each other. So let's say they declared war today, which look, I'm not saying that they're going to. I have no fucking idea about these geopolitical situations. We need to go get Karash on here, man, because he knows about all that shit. Not shit, but very important stuff. Well, I can't make any comments on that. I don't fucking know. What I do know though is that we have seen several of these situations in the past where Russia and whatever, usually Ukraine actually, are kind of conflicting, I guess, or kind of posturing against each other, but nothing really comes of it. In fact, very often nothing comes of it. So forgive me if I'm not like on edge about this just yet. Big Boy George says, Krown, is it true that when it comes to fleshlights, one size does not fit all? Depends. You can always stuff them with more socks and whatnot. It's all good, man. There's no rush about that, but you can't necessarily make them bigger. But for me, that's not a problem, man. I got just a little green dildo right now. 35,000 Bitcoin too, says Chris Krugar. Do you promise? That would be my target on like a true capitulation event. I mean, this is not fucking strong right here, man. It's very difficult to be bullish on a chart like this, below about 44, especially like 44.2, I think it was. I'm an international diplomat. Oh, it's Fedcoin. Hey, what's up, man? Hey, what's up, Charlie Tune's been a long time, man. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll do that for you, man. It's been a very long time, man. Hope all is well. You still over there in Thailand? What was it, XRP? You still love this shit, don't you? You still love this XRP, don't you? Pretty bad right here on the daily. It's already around its lows from earlier in January. I'm probably looking for another swipe of about 70 cents or so. The hopium is that it bounces there alongside Bitcoin and then reverses on like a quick move. But, 4 hours continuation right here. I think you're very, very likely to see like 72 to 70 cents or so. Hopium is that you bounce back there, but hard chart to love as long as you're below right there, 78 cents. In fact, my LARP lines on this one, hey, my LARP lines are actually still kind of working right there. So fair enough. But yeah, very, very low volatility right here. I think the hopium is that you have a quick swipe of the lows, close the day back up, and then, grind your way out of there. But again, that is hopium right now. It's heavily bearish as long as you're below 78 cents, basically. It's kind of a long way of saying that. I remember when Iraq invaded Kuwait, I took on my yen bet in time, oil affects yen. That would actually make a lot of sense, but didn't think to short the stock market. I told my roommate this was imminent, have the same feeling now. Interesting. Okay, interesting. I really have no way to judge these sort of things because, I mean, I don't think we haven't really seen like a truly concerning war in our time, dare I say. Like where, world powers are really getting involved directly, right? Because, if Ukraine gets involved, the idea is that the United States and, most of its European allies, they're going to go and support Ukraine because, well, they want them to become part of NATO. And they've been pretty, adamant about stating that. In fact, what I thought was really fucking interesting, like this, I don't know if this is posturing or like grandstanding, but I thought this was quite interesting and actually like kind of concerning as well is that so Russia's whole thing is that they don't want Ukraine to join NATO because obviously they don't want like NATO missiles like positioned in Ukraine pointed at them. Like I kind of understand that, I guess, but they basically said, hey, we need an answer from you guys, from you, the US basically, that you're not going to do that. Hey, don't do that. You know, we need Ukraine basically to not be a fucking base for you guys. And then the US, I think it was the US who said this, or maybe just kind of a conglomeration of them all, basically came back and said, no, we don't promise that. And yes, at some point we will expand to include someday, I don't know which day, but someday we will come back to expand to Ukraine. It's like, oh my God, man, like those are kind of fighting words right there. Let's go down to the low-term timeframes here and just watch the fun essence of Bitcoin right here. It's starting to catch a little bit of a short-term low, it looks like, if you're on like the extremely crack trader timeframes, but seems to be digging out a lot of liquidity at the low 41,000s in this case, but still, I mean, this is incredibly close to like just nuking all of the potential hoping that you could possibly have on this asset. Let me just see. Should I close my trade right here? I feel like I probably should close my trade right here, but I think I'll hold off on that for right now. Maybe I wait until the 4-hour close right here. Make love, now war. Thank you, says Elsa. Good English, sir. Very good English. You know, if you really wanted world peace, here's what you do, man. You get a bunch of these B-52 bombers, you know, those things that carry just like tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of ordnance, usually loaded up with a shit ton of like LSD, and then just carpet bomb the whole world. Okay, everyone's gonna change their mind. We're gonna be like, hey, why the fuck are we fighting? We're all the same thing anyways. It's all good. Okay, spend some time talking to the trees, and we can all get along. We can work this one out. But no one's done that just yet. Jordan Labocane says, hopefully I'm saying that properly, man. Do you hodl any crypto or short-term trade the asset class? As far as trading goes, I pretty much only short-term trade. And yes, I do hold some of them long-term, but like I just have like a long-term, 5-10 year sort of bag that I essentially put all of my trading profits into. When I have trading profits, I put them in there, and then I have no real intention to realize that into whatever fiat currency that I might be living in until at least like 5 years from now, probably more like 10 years from now. I have no real need for it. So unless if it's like really pertinent for me, I'm not going to take it out. The last time that I actually took out money from this market was 2018. Ever since then, I've actually I haven't really put any money into the market, except actually in early December right here. I actually did put some of my actual fiat currency into this market way back here. Other than that, though, no, just trading mostly, or just trading only really. Anyways, IV17Q says, I'm dollar cost averaging, so price doesn't matter to me. I mean, it should kind of matter to you, man. I'd imagine. I get what you're saying, but gotta be careful with that too, man. Gotta be careful with that. Google says I have to pee now. That's right. Thank you, Google. Thank you, Alexa. B52 is filled with LSD. Sounds like a Joe Rogan idea. It would be a great idea, man, no matter who came up with it. Look, I think he'd be more like weed smoke, but you know what? Either one of them is going to get things done. I think LSD would just be a little bit more streamlined and get things done faster. Can I borrow $10? No problem, man. No problem. I'm DC. Hey, what's up, Mecca? What's up, what's up, brother? I'm DCing into the start of the 3-year bear market. Yeah, man. Let's see. I mean, like, let's talk a little bit about some bear point right now. Like, what's the worst that could happen over the next few years? I mean, another 3-year bear market. We're already 1 year into it. If that's the case, you know, I do think like worst case scenario is probably coming down to low 20,000s, mid 20,000s, something like that. And then spending like the next, I don't know, 1.5 to 2 years kind of going sideways, basically between 20s and 40s for a while. That's just me right there. I think that's kind of like the worst of it. Christian Dom says, where do we need to go to get rid of most of the leverage? Well, the problem right now is that I think you've gotten rid of all of the easy leverage, the easy long leverage, right? I mean, that was most of this move right here. I think at this point, you're starting to, you're probably, when you see the open interest kind of stay staunch like this alongside price action going down, it's probably more shorts now on the board than longs in this case. So where would it need to go? Probably up, to be honest with you. But, I do still think regardless of whether it's going to come from longs or shorts, it very likely comes down around here. Now, if you're specifically talking about long leverage, the people who are still in their long positions leveraged, I mean, I imagine they were trading very long-term timeframes, probably from way back on over here. So in order to really test them, you need to come down to like, mid to low 30s, and then to put them under pressure, probably mid 20s or so. Again, we're talking about a hypothetical situation right here. I'm not saying that that's what I'm looking for to happen right now. A lot of things need to happen before that becomes a reasonable probability. But, to be fair, one of the bigger things to be aware of, and something that, typically, statistically speaking, does get filled, is, you do have a gap fill, a pretty damn big one from July of the past year, way back down at around $33,000 to $34,000. So, if you really want to talk about some more, I would say that's probably the most relevant, bear point for right now. Like that would be a reasonable target for, a complete nuke down in like a March 2020 style event right there. I mean, keep in mind, we already are seeing about 40% off the highs, actually a little bit more than that, about 43% off the highs. You're gonna start to see some value investors start to step in. I would say it's particularly in the mid to upper $30,000 territory. So, it's and also remember, Bitcoin really doesn't have like a major prolonged bounce throughout this whole move to the downside. I'd feel a lot more comfortable being short, personally speaking, if we saw something like this, or I guess I already have it in there, but just pull up a fresh chart right here. Maybe this one. This one still works. Let's just work off this one right here. Destroy this one. Basically something like this. If I saw something like that, that would make me a very, very confident to short for a long time. But right now it's like, I don't really want to short here. Yeah, everything's down, but really wouldn't take too much to get a nice little, nice little actual official bull trap right here. It's kind of my general disposition. All right, cool, man. I think I've spoken my head off at this point. My throat is absolutely wrecked at this point, and I think it was for a good cause. It's for a good cause. Actually, let's go back here. I want my damn charts back. There we go. You got about, what is this? Hold on, let's go down to an hourly or a 4 hour. Yeah, you got about 16 minutes and 48 seconds left to go on this next 4 hour to closure. I mean, again, this is hoping at this point. I do consider this one already broken as of yesterday. So, technically speaking, probably looking for another move back down somewhere around the lows. I would be looking for another bouncy bounce somewhere around here on the short-term timeframes. I wouldn't necessarily fully call a breakdown just yet, to be honest with you. So, yeah, man, hopefully that was helpful. I'm going to be signing off now. I want to wish everyone well. Stay safe. If you're not, if you're not currently in a position, or you're in a position that is not working for you, always remember, you don't need to be a hero. And by taking off position and going to, cash, it gives you the opportunity to take advantage of a better position that you so like. So, at the end of the day, just, capital preservation is the name of the game here. And I really don't have any, even short-term reversals to be calling on Bitcoin. Again, as long as you're below basically the last rejected 5 from yesterday's, little failed pump right there. So hopefully that was helpful. I'm going to be signing off now. Take care, and I will see you very, very soon.
Write it, code it, name it, tweet it, mine it, stack it, live it, dream it, post it, scan it, charge it, send it, do it, and receive it. Trade it, buy it, sell it, store it, run it, list it, first rename it. Crypto logic. Pump it, hack it, lose it, dump it, sell it, ditch it, XR, pitch it, copy, paste it, nudge it, test it, build it, try it, bend it, fork it,